He was the city of Vallejo's first African-American police chief, but in 2022 he resigned. And now tonight, for the first time since he left the department, we're learning why. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Dan Ashley.
And I'm Amadeus. Former Vallejo Police Chief Shawnee Williams isn't speaking out about his resignation by choice. It's all part of a deposition into another case.
ABC 7 News investigative reporter Melanie Woodrow has been covering the Vallejo department for the past decade and is in the newsroom to explain what happened, Mel.
Dan and Amma, former police chief Shawnee Williams' deposition is part of a civil case involving the niece of a man who was shot and killed by Vallejo police in 2019 at a Taco Bell drive-thru. According to a federal civil rights lawsuit, she says she was pulled over by two of the officers who shot at him a couple of months later, thrown on the ground, tased, and arrested. Her attorney says she was never charged with a crime. In 2022, approximately 3 months after the Vallejo Police Department Police Officers Association issued a vote of no confidence in then VPD Chief Shawnee Williams, Williams resigned. Now for the first time, he's sharing why. In a deposition with civil rights attorney Melissa Nold, Williams testified his resignation was a result of racial animus and retaliatory things that were happening that made it unbearable or impossible for him to perform his duties in a safe environment. Williams also detailed threats he says he received in the mail. Williams was the first African-American police chief at Vallejo PD. Nold deposed him as part of Diana Jenkins' federal civil rights lawsuit. Jenkins is Willie McCoy's niece. In 2019, Vallejo police shot McCoy more than 50 times at a Taco Bell drive-thru. A couple of months later, Jenkins says two of the officers who shot her uncle stopped her, dragged her out of a car, threw her on the ground, tased, and arrested her. Nold says she was never charged with a crime.
From what we can tell, it was racial profiling. The officers were very aggressive.
At the time, Vallejo police said she was combative and resisting arrest. Nold says she deposed Williams because he says he was threatened and forced out of the department for his reform efforts and for disciplining officers, including one of the officers in Jenkins' case.
He was trying to get people terminated, and so he was doing a lot of things that were new and different for the city of Vallejo, and that seemed to be the reason why they forced him out.
The I-team reached out to the Vallejo Police Department for comment. I have not yet heard back. Mike Raines represented the Vallejo Police Officers Association in 2022 when the POA issued its vote of no confidence in Williams. He has a different take on the resignation.
Shawnee Williams was without a doubt the worst police chief I have ever dealt with in 45 years. The most incompetent, the poorest communicator with his immediate administrative staff and with the entire department. He was the victim of animus, but it wasn't racially motivated. It was because he was incompetent.
In an emailed statement, Williams attorney Jamon Hicks writes, quote, through his years dedicated to public service, Chief Williams made transparency a top priority. Even in his retirement, Chief Williams maintains his core values of honesty, transparency, and dedication to the communities he serves. A joint dispute letter filed by Nold on behalf of Jenkins says that Williams was forced out of his job as chief because he feared for his safety after harassment, racism, threats, retaliation, and intimidation that resulted in 3 formal complaints the city failed to investigate or resolve. The letter also states that during the deposition in question, Williams accused Vallejo Assistant City Attorney Caitlin Knight of trying to threaten and intimidate him in relationship to the deposition. Citing attorney-client privilege, Knight directed him not to answer Nold's questions about how. In an emailed statement to the I-team, Knight denies any intimidation and writes in part, quote, there was no legally inappropriate conduct by counsel for the city. Also that she's prohibited from discussing the contents of the communications at issue due to attorney-client privilege. During his deposition, Williams also stated that he had concerns about the city failing to keep him safe or investigate. Attorney Melissa Nold is seeking to redepose Williams specifically to